Hi everyone, I am Miss Charity Faith Pili Batog and my task is to discuss Chapter 3, Section 3.5, Application Differential Equations. So, on Chapter 3, just a quick recap, it is more on about vector spaces theory, the span, the bases, and the dimensions, as well as the linear independence. Now, in this topic, we apply it to complete different looking problems in differential equations. So we let us start when differential equation meets linear algebra. And the answer of that is everywhere in science and technology. It is in science and technology because they are used extensively by scientists and engineers to solve problems which concerning with the growth, the motion, vibration, forces, or any problem involving the rates of change of variable quantities. It is not also surprisingly because mathematicians have devoted a great deal to effort to developing methods for solving differential equation. And it's turned out linear algebra is highly useful to this effort. However, linear algebra also make it possible to attain a deeper understanding of the theoretical foundation of this equation and their solution. So in this section 3.5, we have a brief introduction of the connection between the linear algebra and differential equations. We also discuss a vector space of functions, where it's talk about the set of solution to a linear difference differential equation forms a subspace, the space of differentiable function. And then the basic fundamental sets, which is it talks about finding the basis of the subspace and a fundamental set of solutions to solve the equation completely. So from the definition itself, differential equations, it is an equation involving x, y prime, y double prime, yn is an ordinary differential equation of order n. So this section develops the theory for first and second order linear equation with the constant coefficient. And this is the scope in this study. So the we will start with the exponential model or the first order equation. So this exponential model, it is one of the simplest kinds of differential equation. And this is the first order equation given by y prime is equal to ky. So this equation is used to model quantities that exhibit the exponential growth or decay. As you can see here, this blue legend is the positive k, it shows the growth, and this yellow here is the negative decay, show the negative k shows the decay. So it is based on the assumption that the rate of change of the quantity presented at any time t is directly proportional to the quantity present at time t. So the solution for the differential equation y is equal to f of t that satisfies the equation, that is the result in that is the result in an identity when substituted for y in an original equation. So to solve this equation, we write it as y prime divided by y is equal to k. After that one, we integrate both sides of the equation with respect to the independent variable to obtain y is equal to k times t plus a. And solving for y, it gives us y is equal to a raised to the power of k times t plus a is equal to c a raised to the power of k times t, where c is an arbitrary constant. And the yt is equal to c a raised to the power of kt. This is what we call the general solution or it is a whole family of functions satisfying y prime is equal to ky. So in linear algebra view, the general solution is spawned from the set of a raised to the power of kt, one-dimensional subspace for the space of differentiable functions. So we proceed with the initial value problems. So it is a physical constraint pins down one member of a family or of a particular solution. So from in a certain cases, a physical constraint imposes a condition of a one solution that allows for the identification of a particular solution. So for example, we have here solve y prime is equal to 3y with y is equal to 0 is equal to 2. By using the general solution, so that is required that y is equal to 2 and when t is equal to 0. So the general solution is equal to y times t is equal to c a raised to the power of 3 times t, which is 3 times 0. So apply it for y times 0, that will give us 2, and 2 is equal to c a raised to the power of 0, 0. That implies c is equal to 2. So the particular solution for this one is y t is equal to 2 a raised to the power of 3 times t. So from a linear algebra perspective, we can think of a general solution to the differential equation y prime is equal to ky from here. Ay, dili mabalik. To ky as a span over the rational or the vector a raised to the power of kt, which describe one-dimensional subspace of a vector space of the differentiable function of on the real line. So next is the second order equation or the differential equation with constant coefficient. So it is an equation in the form of y double prime plus ay prime plus by is equal to 0. So it is motivated by the first order case, which is y is equal to a raised to the power of rx. And substituting and factoring a raised to the power of rx, that is will give us r squared plus ar plus b is equal to 0, and that is what is auxiliary equation. Since a raised to the power of rx is greater than 0 and it is always greater than 0, y is equal to ar raised to the power of rx solves the equation exactly when r solves the auxiliary equation r raised to the power of 2 plus or r squared plus ar plus b is equal to 0. This equation called as auxiliary equation, as this equation is the quadratic, there are three possible possibilities for the roots r and r2, roots 1 and roots 2. So the next slide talks about the case 1, where the two distinct real roots r1 and r2. The case 2 is one repeated real roots r, and the case 3 is the two complex conjugate roots a plus and minus the beta I or the imaginary. So as I've said in the previous slides that there are three solutions for three root cases. So we will start with distinct real. So it means for the auxiliary equation, it means that the root 1 is not equal to root 2 and they are both real and distinct. And there are two solutions, that is y1 is equal to a raised to the power of r1x and y2 is equal to a raised to the power of 2 r2 times x. So in this, each case is motivated by the exponential model and verified directly by substitution into y double prime plus a y prime plus by is equal to 0. So if we are asked, for example, 1, we find the two distinct solutions for the differential equation y double prime minus 3y prime plus 2y is equal to 0. So to solve this one, we let y is equal to a raised to the power of rx. So since it is an auxiliary equation, that will give us r squared minus 3r plus 2, and we factor this one. After we substitute the auxiliary equation, we factor this one. This will give us the quantity of r minus 1 times r minus 2 is equal to 0. So it has the distinct real roots, which is 1 and 2. So the two distinct solution for the differential equation is y1 is equal to a raised to the power of x, and y2 is equal to a raised to the power of 2x. Next is the case number 2, the repeated real. For the roots of auxiliary equation, it means that the root 1 and the root 2, they are equal. They are the same root. And for the fundamental solution, we have where y1 is equal to a raised to the power of rx, and y2 is equal to x a raised to the power of rx. Why is it like that? Although that the auxiliary equation has only one root, there are still two distinct solution. So this is the two distinct solution. So for example, 2 y double prime minus 2y prime plus y is equal to 0. And using the auxiliary, since it is an auxiliary equation, so we can simply substitute r squared minus 2r plus 1, and then we factor this one, we get r minus 1 squared is equal to 0. So our roots here is, as you can see, it is 1 and it is repeated. But we have still two distinct solutions for the differential equation, and that is y1 is equal to a raised to the power of x, and y2 is equal to x a raised to the power of x. Now we will proceed with the third case. It is the complex conjugate. In complex conjugate, r1 and 2 is equal to a plus and minus the beta I, or the imaginary. So there are two roots solution y1 and there are two differential equations. That is y1 is equal to a raised to the power of ax cos bx or beta x. y2 is equal to a raised to the power of ax sin bx. So we will proceed with example 3. Y double prime minus 2y prime plus 5y is equal to 0. So of course, like what we did, we use let y is equal to a raised to the power of rx. So the auxiliary equation corresponding to this y double prime minus 2y prime plus 5y is equal to 0 is r squared minus 2r plus 5 is equal to 0. So we applying the quadratic formula, we get the complex root. The complex root 1 is 1 plus 2i and 1 minus 2i. So the two solutions of the differential equations are given this y1 is equal to a raised to the power of x cosine 2x, and y2, this is a mistake, this is a raised to the power of x sine 2x. Next is, so we will proceed with the theorem 16, the existence and uniqueness. It says there, if p of x, q of x, f of x are continuous on interval and x of 0 is an element of that interval, then y double prime plus p of x y prime plus q of x y is equal to f of x. Then it will give the solution of y of x of 0 is equal to y of 0, and y prime of x of 0 is equal to y of 0 prime, has as a unique solution on interval. In the theorem 17 also, it's about the superposition principle. If y sub 1 y1x and y2x solved by the y double prime plus ay prime plus by is equal to 0, and c is any scalar, then y1x plus c times y2x is a solution. And let S be the set of all solutions to all y, if you're going to prove this one, the answer for this is equal to 0. So let S be the set of all solution to y double prime plus ay prime plus by is equal to 0. By the superposition principle, if you recall the theorem for in section 3.2, we know that the S is a subspace of c squared times the interval, and the vector space of twice differentiable function on interval. Next is the testing independence or the Wronskians. Um, it says there that the function f of 1, f of n are linearly independent on interval when c1 f of 1 plus dot 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 plus c n f n is equal to 0 for all x is an element of that interval, forces every ci is equal to 0. In Theorem 18, it gives a computation test of two functions using their derivatives. So the work chance f and g with respect of x is equal to f of x g prime of x minus the f prime of x g of x. If the Wronskians f and g with respect to x of 0 is not equal to 0 for some x of 0 is an element of interval, then f and g are linearly independent on that interval. So if we are going to apply this to y double prime plus ay prime plus by is equal to 0, and then we get these three cases, the distinct, real, the repeated, and then the complex. In Wronskians, we have here a raised to the power of r root 1 plus root 2 times root 2 minus root 1. So that is indistinct real. And non-zero, it is non-zero when it is always minus r1 is not equal to r2. So that is the distinct real. And for the repeated, we have here a raised to the power of 2rx, and it is always non-zero. And for the complex, we have here beta times a raised to the power of 2ax, and it is always as non-zero always as long as the beta is not equal to 0. Since the Wronskians never vanishes in any of the three cases, the two solution y1 and y2 are always linearly independent in every case. So next is the fundamental set of solution. So in theorem 20, it says there that if y1x and y2x are two linearly independent solutions to y double prime plus ay prime plus by is equal to 0 on interval, then every solution can be written as the linear combination. So it can be written like this: y of x is equal to c1 y1 of x plus c2 y2 of x. So the proof there, if we're going to prove this one, if we match initial condition of y of x of 0 and y prime of x of 0 to 2 by 2 linear system whose coefficient matrix has determinant of the Wronskians y1 and y2, and with respect to x of 0 is not equal to 0, so the c1 and c2 exist and are unique, then we will invoke the theorem 16, the uniqueness. So the y1 and y2, this is called the fundamental set of solution as a basis for the solution of the subspace A. So the dimension of S is equal to 2. So in every solution of a second order constant coefficient linear homogeneous equation lives in a two-dimensional subspace spanned by any two independent solutions. So next is the mechanical vibration or a mass on a spring. So this is the motion. This is a physical application of the motion of an object of an vibrating spring is governed by a second order initial value problem. So this is the second order initial value problem. My prime plus c double prime plus cy prime plus ky is equal to f of x. So this is already, I mentioned this already in the previous slide, where this m here is the mass of the object, and this c is the damping coefficient, and this k here is the stiffness or the spring constant, and thus f of x is the external driving force. So we talked there are three damping coefficients C that remains the qualitative behavior of the motion. So when we see overdump, this is the two distinct real roots returns to rest without oscillating. And the critically dumped, it is the repeated real roots fastest return without oscillating. And then the underdump, this is the complete roots, and it oscillates with decaying amplitude. So we will see this in the next slide. This is the summary from differential equation to vector spaces. So y prime is equal to ky. So this is the general rule of c, or y is equal to c a raised to the power of k teaspoons as 1 minus d subspace of the differential functions. And this auxiliary y double prime plus ay prime plus by is equal to 0, where the roots of the auxiliary equation are 2 plus r squared plus ar plus b is equal to 0 fall into three cases, each giving two solution, the y1 and y2. And then for the superposition theorem in theorem 17, the solution of the set is a subspace of c squared of interval. It is the sum of n scalar multiples of the solution or solutions. And the Wronskian's theorem 18 and 19, where the Wronskian's y sub y1 and y2 is not equal to 0 confirms that the linear independence verified for all three roots cases. And then the fundamental set, the theorem 20, it says there that any two independent solution form a basis of S, or the dimension of S is always 2 always. And then the last one is the application, the exponential growth and decay, and then the mass spring vibration system are solved directly by using this framework. And that's all my report. Thank you for watching, and God bless.